Hey folks, this is Jake Davis, and today is a very special day. Today I would like to share with you good people my retro review, my retrospective for Batman 1989. Now, I said before, this is probably my favorite movie. There's no film I've seen more times, talked more about, or obsessed over more in my life than Tim Burton's Batman. This film was released on June 22nd, 1989, and I was right there with my family that day. Released by Warner Brothers, written by Sam Hamm, and we're not going to talk about that other guy. No, I'm not going to talk about him. And produced by Peter Gruber and John Peters. And starring Michael Keane, Kim Basinger, Billy D. Williams, Michael Goth, Pat Hingle, Robert Wool, Jack Palance, Jerry Hall, David Batts, Tracy Walters, and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. This was, when it came out, possibly definitely one of the most anticipated movies of all time. But even 30 years later, 80 years into Batman's history now, even after the Avengers, even after all this we've seen now, even post-Endgame, still possible. Nothing has topped, nothing has touched Batman's hype. As I said, this is a big deal for me, this movie. I have deep, deep love for this film and complicated emotions. So, I am very happy to share my thoughts on this for you. So without any further ado, let's begin. The movie starts in Gotham City. We see a family lost in the streets. They go down an alley where they're followed by two homeless men. Guy hits a father with a gun, pulls a gun on the wife, pulls a gun on the kid, points a gun at the kid, same gun. The other guy takes the wallet, and they book it. Up on the roof, the two muggers are talking about, one guy's a little remorseful, you should have pointed your gun at the kid, man. And they start talking about the Bat. Some guy got thrown off a building or something. Yeah, he got ripped and took a walk off a roof. No big loss. And out of nowhere, boom, Batman. That's right, fucking Batman. 5 minutes into the movie, right here, full suit, Michael Keaton in all his gothic glory. Right there, drops in, kicks one motherfucker through a wall, throws a batarang at another guy, drags him. This dude's just screaming like Dracula's about to rip his throat out. He's holding him over the roof. The guy's begging Batman not to kill him. And then we get the best, coolest Batman line of all time. He says, "I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me." You know the rest. Batman lets him go, of course. Later we meet a reporter named Alexander Knotts, named after a classic movie star from the 1940s. Not coincidentally, it's an obvious thing, but also in Tim Burton's sequel, Batman Returns, there'd be another main character made for the film that'd be named Matt Schreck, who was the name of the actor who played Count Orlok, and Nosferatu, and he was a real vampire too. True story. I saw it in a biopic with Willem Dafoe. It's a fact. Anyhow, Alexander Knotts is the guy writing the story, trying to build a case on the Batman. And I've always thought that was cool, that it's the reporters, it's the press, trying to cover the Batman, and, the cops are trying to bury it, hide it, pretend it's not going on. Now, around the same time we meet Jack Napier. Jack Napier is the right-hand man of the big crime boss, Boss Grissom. who's played by the great Jack Palance, who was probably my first favorite actor when I was a kid. Between being in this and being in Shane, two movies who had, like, the movies that really impacted my childhood the most. Uh, now, D.A. Harvey Dent, played by Billy D. Williams, baby. Billy D is terrific. He's gonna shine the light of the law on that nest of vipers. He's terrific as Harvey Dent. It's a shame he didn't come back for the sequel, but, that's neither here nor there. Harvey Dent is cracking down on Grissom, and he's on his ass. So Grissom just said, decides we're gonna, cover our front company, break into the place, trash the office, and make off with the records, pretend it was industrial espionage. So he sends Napier to do it. Now Napier doesn't realize that Grissom knows Napier's been banging his babe on the side. And the whole thing is just a setup to ice Napier. A cop on the take, played by Eckhart. And this is the first criticism I'll have for this movie. The guy who plays Lieutenant Eckhart has just some really, really bad voice dubbing. I don't know if it's that guy's voice and they had to dub over it for some weird reason, like, they do with the European films, or they had to dub the guy's voice because he didn't sound good. But either way, it doesn't sound good, and it's distracting, and just thank God he's only in 2 scenes. Anyhow, at the same time, Commissioner Gordon is at a gala, a casino fundraiser, a gambling fundraiser at Wayne Manor, where we meet Bruce Wayne. And a little bit earlier, we met Vicky Vale. She's a photographer from the fictitious, fresh off vacation, the fictitious Corto Maltese, which was a great reference to some classic DC shit. That was even used in Dark Knight Returns, a comic. Vicky Vale has come to Gotham City because she's intrigued by the case of the Batman, and she wants to help this guy Knotts prove it. It's real. Now, Batman's got, he's got Dent, the mayor, the press, and Gordon all at this casino. So he's actually really kind of, the way I always think, he's got the spy on people. He's trying to figure out some shit. And, of course, because he is Bruce Wayne, he's probably also legit raising charity money for people. But, of course, while they're there, they get the call about Napier at Access Chemicals, and Gordon has to leave to go get it, which means Batman has to leave to go deal with it. At Access Chemicals, Napier realizes he's been set up, but it's too late. The cops are already there. By the way, I should also point out, before I get too much into this, because there's a great cue in this scene, that Danny Elfman's music is so iconic and amazing in this film. And I know Oingo was a popular group, and he did a great job with Beetlejuice, but it was really this movie that and made it for him. Danny Elfman hasn't had to worry about work since Batman. So Napier tries to get away. He kills Eckhart, but he runs into the Batman. Batman stops him from killing Gordon, and in the fight, a ricochet goes off. Well, of course, Napier's the one that shoots. Ricochet hits him in the face, falls over the side. Batman tries to catch him, but Napier slips out of his hand. He falls into the chemicals and gets washed out of the pipes. Of course, everyone just assumes he's dead, but guess what? He's the fucking Joker. Now, I want to point out that, of course, there seems to be some weird confusion. I guess a lot of people don't genuinely know what the case is with the Joker. Yes, in the Heath Ledger film, he's just war paint, but that's part of whole Nolan's realism thing. But other aspects about how we don't really know the history of the Joker, and even it seems to be kind of blurry, and for him too, that was consistent with the comics. But Joker is this acid-washed freak. And great photorealistic comic book artist named Alex Ross said in the DVD that I got for this, said that in the special features, that he always preferred the origin with Napier opposed to the origin and the Killing Joke, Alan Moore's origin. Mainly, he preferred the idea of Joker being the sadistic, vicious guy already, and this just brought out this personality for him. Now, I agree. I completely agree, but the Killing Joke's still great. So, the Joker is now the fucking Joker. He goes straight after, a fucked up surgery, this wonderful, wonderful silent movie horror scene where, we don't see the Joker's face. He demands for the mirror after taking off his rags. He looks at it, and we don't see the face. He's crying, then he just starts laughing hysterically, knocks out the light, and then does this. It's just a great fucking scene. It is a great scene. So he goes to Grissom's office. Grissom's alone in the middle of the night. Another great scene. And, the slow walking out of this, the wonderful line, Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker. Unloads. Ices Grissom, and then begins to just take over the city. Starts systematically taking out the mob bosses. And then after he takes out the mob bosses, he starts to poison the Gotham cosmetics. Now, while this has been going on, Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale have started to date. While she's still working on the case of the Batman, there's something very mysterious about Bruce Wayne that she's also following him around. Mainly, they had this really nice he's lying to her. He walks, when there's this scene where the Joker ices a mob boss in broad daylight, and just Bruce, Vicky, and Knots are all right there, and Bruce gets shot in the fucking arm. I mean, it grazes him, but doesn't even rattle, doesn't even move, doesn't twitch. You know what I mean? Because he's Batman. And, little things like this are starting to add up. What the fuck's wrong with Bruce Wayne? No, I've always kind of liked the idea is that, why doesn't she automatically compare Bruce Wayne's the Batman? Was I always kind of assumed, well, people think the Batman's a monster. They're not thinking it's a guy at this point. Well, that's how I always just thought of it. Anyhow, now, Joker's terrorizing the cities, poisoning the cosmetics, and people are dropping dead left and fucking right. I mean, live on television, an anchor woman just drops dead, laughing hysterically with a frozen Joker grin. And, eventually, after the events in the parking, gets a photo of Vicky Vale, Joker gets obsessed with Vicky because, movie. And he pretends to be Bruce Wayne, and which I always thought was weird, how Bruce Wayne's the most famous person in Gotham City, but Napier doesn't know. Well, that's just a little nitpick. Anyhow, he pretends to be Bruce Wayne, and he has Vicky meet him at the museum. Joker poisons everybody at the museum. Again, just a shitload of dead people. I mean, Joker kills a lot of motherfuckers in this movie. Now, pops up this great sequence where they just destroy all the art with painting it and scratching it up while they listen to Prince music. And that's something else I gotta say real quick. Prince did an original soundtrack for this movie. I mean, it's cheesy, it's crummy stuff, and it's not good for Prince music, but it's still Prince. So there's there's at least some nice guitar licks and stuff like that. There's that to be said for it. But then he terrorizes Vicky, basically tells her that I guess he just wants her to shoot him, and brings in what he's done to his ex-babe, Felicia, Grissom's chick. She's just ass and bird. Eventually, Vicky, she tries to make a run for it, just kind of just throws water in Joker's face. Joker's also been wearing, makeup this whole time to cover up his white bleached face and shit. And he gets washed off. He does this great Wizard of Oz gag. Batman, bam, drops down to the skylight, which will be such an iconic moment. They will literally have to try to recreate it in every Batman movie since. And I should also point out that it's between Joker falling to the Access Chemicals and Batman dropping down to the skyline right here. We have not seen Batman in the suit a single time in this 35 minute gap of the movie. It just depends. Sometimes when you're watching the movie, that gap can feel kind of shitty, but it is also the rise of the Joker part of the film. So Batman rescues Vicky, they escape. We finally see for the first time in the movie the Batmobile. And while they're escaping, gotta throw in this great Jack Nicholson line, where does he get those wonderful toys? And no, I didn't say the damn line, wait till you get a load of me, because, if I would have even started that, I would have had to do the whole fucking soliloquy for you. I wouldn't have been able to stop myself. Sorry. I'm wearing a purple shirt today, I hope y'all noticed. For a reason. Anyhow, the Batmobile gets cut off. They have to jump out, but drop it, and this. All of a sudden, he puts the shields up on the Batmobile. And I think it was the first time I ever saw any kind of CGI in a movie. In that scene, so they get cornered down an alley. Batman uses the grappling hook to get out, but they're too heavy, so he lets her go up, and he just falls, just dead falls straight to the bottom. They shoot him. They think they've killed him. But as soon as they got their eyes off of him, he pops up, because Vicky tries to take a picture. Does take a picture. Batman pops up, beats the shit out of all of them. One guy, Kung Fu guy, just magically jumps over a fish. I guess this guy was chasing them on fucking foot the whole time. But this Mortal Kombat motherfucker jumps over, does his whole thing, and just gets knocked the fuck out quick, because Batman, duh. So then Batman catches up with Vicky, takes her back to the cave. This beautiful visual sequence here, the whole sequence of riding through the forest and her trying to look through his mask, the way Keaton is lit, and the look of the forest and the rise of the music, and even in the cave, the way, just the look of the cave, and how he's constantly avoiding her, almost like in Phantom of the Opera. It was it's some of my favorite scene in the movie. One of my favorite scenes in the movie. That's just so well done. So it looks good. Good scene. Just a good scene. So Batman has cracked the Joker's code, chemistry code, the combinations for it, and gives her the thing because she's press, and sends her back to her apartment, but not before slipping off the film where she got a picture of him, because I can't. We have Batman on the cover of a fucking magazine by the time we get to Batman Forever. And that's just so wrong. Just so not cool. Anyhow, so, Joker's code's been broken. So Joker's super fucking pissed now. I mean, he's already, got a habit in the movie, shooting his TVs every time he hears Batman's name. So, now by the whole time, at the same time, because of all the violence, the mayor has been more concerned about the budget for the 200-year celebration festival for the city. While Dent and Gordon are trying to fucking catch the Joker. Anyhow, so the mayor's finally making this speech on live television where he's going to cancel the festival. Joker hijacks the live feed and says, well, I'm putting on a festival. And I'm going to be throwing money out into the crowd, and there's going to be music, and we're going to be partying, and if Batman's got the balls, he'll meet me for a fight. I mean, Jack Nicholson does a better than I just did, but it's that. Oh God, I'm sorry, but I jumped over, the worst scene of the movie. After the museum incident, Batman decides that he wants to, tell Vicky who he is. So he goes to her apartment, and before he's able to tell her, Joker pops up there. And there's this scene where, it's the Joker, Batman tries to confront him. Come on, let's get nuts. If you've ever done a parody of Michael Keaton, it's the scene you've probably done a parody of. Joker comes up, pulls a gun on him, says, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? And shoots him. And then they leave. Without Vicky, So, the scene really is only there so Keaton and Nicholson could have a scene without the suit, and so we can have this terrible revelation that we're about to have in the film. And by the way, Batman survived having the shot without a suit because, he's able to grab, a tray, a silver tray, and put it under his breast there. So Batman's in the Batcave watching the Joker's announcement while he's got the case on his parents' murder. He has a memory about thinking about and remember the guy who shot his parents saying the exact same thing when he killed his parents, and realizes that the Joker is the guy that killed his parents, which has always and will always fucking suck. I mean, just taking away the fact, what made the death of the Waynes so impactful is that it was just a random, senseless crime by a man who ultimately regretted it till his dying day. Like on the show Gotham, when you make it assassins who did it, or in this situation ends up being a future archenemy, it fucks up the whole point of it, for me, as far as I'm concerned. It ruins the purpose of the Wayne's deaths. Anyhow, now around at the same time, Vicky Vale's also found out about Bruce's parents, and has found out Bruce is Batman. And Alfred lets her into the cave. Now, as I've gotten older, I've kind of let this slide because A, she did figure out on her own, and B, Batman does bust his balls about it a little bit in the sequel, but it's just a throwaway line. But at least it's addressed, you know? So, it's terrible. It was terrible at the time, but, you know, the fact that, you know, Joker's a killer, Vicky Vale's in the Batcave. What the fuck just happened in the middle of this movie? This movie just got 2 kicks in the nuts in like 3 minutes here. Anyhow, she says she still loves him. He loves her. But, you know, that doesn't matter. He has to go stop the Joker. So suits the fuck up and goes to Access Chemicals, where he goes forward with just pretty much killing every single one of the Joker's men. It gets pretty fucking dark, actually. He blows up Access Chemicals, literally blowing up and killing every henchman, scientist, worker, and possible hostage that was in there. And he didn't get the Joker, because the Joker's already in his Joker helicopter. Got that custom made quick, by the way. And he's on his way to the parade. So Batman goes all the way back to the cave to get the Batwing, whatever. You know, Joker goes all the way back to the beginning of the parade to get on the fucking float. So, whatever. The mechanics don't work here. The third act of the movie kind of falls apart. Even though I still love it. I still fucking love it. So, Joker does this great big speech. And he unleashes his Joker laughing gas. And this is a great thing I also got to point out about this movie. I've always loved this. Joker's laughing gas in the comics was always just called Joker's laughing gas. But in this film, we get a name for it, Smilet's gas. And I've always loved that name. It was perfect. I've always liked that. Smilet's gas. That's the Joker. That's what should just always have called it that. Should call it that from now on. At least they should have called it since this. I don't think they call it that in the comics still. Anyhow, he unleashes Smilet's gas and starts to kill everybody in the crowd. Again, it's like the third or fourth scene in the movie where Joker just starts killing a shitload of people in public. So people are dropping like flies. Batman, Knotts, God bless him, does what he can. You know, Vicky tells her to get in the car. He pops his hood, he gets his baseball bat and his cup. And he just starts whacking at the Joker's men holding the balloons, trying to get people the fuck out of there, you know. Now, real quick, during this whole thing, you know, Vicky's trying to escape. He jumps on the hood of his car to escape way there. He gets thrown off and gets hurt. I guess in the original script, he was supposed to get killed off, but they liked what Robert Wall was doing, so they decided not to kill him off. And then they still don't bring him back for the sequel because Vicky didn't come back, so why bring him back? Anyhow, I still think, you know, the representation of the press was something that I liked in the first movie, would have liked to have more of in the sequels. Anyhow, so Batman comes in on the Batwing, shoots up all the Joker's men, but first he gets all the balloons and takes over the sky into the atmosphere so they're not stop poisoning people. Joker Nicholson's great bit. Now I'm not even going to do that. He took my balloons, but you got to watch that rant. I mean, Joker is legit heartbroken. He's like a fucking 6-year-old kid who just found out he's not having a party. But it's he's so mad. He demands a gun, shoots the closest guy, and then realizes that, you know, it's Bob, his right hand, and just like instantly depressed and leave him alone. Another great Joker scene. Great scene. Anyhow, Batman comes back down, he shoots the place up, Batman and Joker have their face-off. Batman's coming in. Joker pulls out. Batman shoots all around him, but can't bring himself to shoot the Joker. Or misses. I never really got that, because he doesn't seems to legitimately be trying to kill him. Has no problem killing him a little later, but, I mean, misses for some reason. Never get really, whatever. Joker pulls out this ridiculously cartoon barreled gun. I mean, it's just a regular pistol gun, but the barrel's like 3 feet long. And he shoots the Batwing. The Batwing crashes, and the worst special effect of the whole movie. It hits the street, it sliding, explodes up the street. It's all so obviously models and toys. It just all looks so small and fake. And also there's another, not a bad effect, but unfortunate effect, that when Joker steps out of the shadows and you call me Joker, you can see a stain, a purple stain on the back of his neck on the white makeup. I guess in the previous take, the white makeup had rubbed off on the coat, so they put something to cover up the white and ended up rubbing off on the neck. So it's like, they just use the best take. That's how it goes. Today they could just digitally remove that, but 1989. Anyhow, so Batman is injured, presumed dead. Joker kidnaps Vicky Vale and is ready to escape. He tells his helicopter to pick him up at the top of the cathedral. Why a cathedral? Because Jack Nicholson and John Peters went to see Phantom of the Opera while shooting this movie, and it got changed to a cathedral, cause they had major problems even figuring out what to do with the third act. I think like somewhere between Vicky Vale's apartment and the parade, they were gonna shoehorn Robin in there at one point. It just, yeah. I guess they never really had faith in whatever the third act for the original movie was. I still don't know. I've never been able to find a confirmed, agreed on source of what the plan was for the third act of the movie. Anyhow, so he's taking her up to the cathedral. Batman drags himself out of the wreckage. So fucking hurt. He's having trouble walking at first. Joker gets to the top waiting for his helicopter. Batman's halfway up there, and Joker uses his acid flower in his lapel to drop the bell, goes all the way down the staircase, and blocks the entrance, shutting Gordon and the police outside. But Batman's still able to get up. And so are, 2 or 3 of the Joker's goons. Somehow. But Batman fights them, killing them, of course, just because. Then finally has a final fight with the Joker. And I've always loved the fact that the final toe-to-toe with the Joker doesn't get shitted. Batman knocks him through a wall, pulls him back, knocks him through another fucking wall, knocks his fucking teeth out, knocks him over the balcony. This when Batman lets his guard down. Batman drags him over the edge of the thing. Joker drags him and Vicky over the side. Batman and Vicky are hanging over the edge. Joker's standing down laughing at him. The helicopter's coming around, and Joker's getting away. He's going up the helicopter ladder. Batman shoots the batarang. Half of it wraps around Joker's ankle. Half of it wraps around the gargoyle. I guess you could maybe theoretically say that the Joker, Batman, wasn't trying to kill him here. How do you know the gargoyle was going to break? But fuck it. He's trying to kill him. Says he wants to kill him earlier, so fuck it. I'm not forgiving it. Gargoyle breaks, pulls Joker down. Joker plummets to his death. Seconds later, Batman and Vicky lose their grip. They fall. Batman shoots another batarang, catches them. They survive. We see Joker's dead body with great cool scene, laughing bots in his jacket while Gordon and the cops surround the corpse. The final scene of the movie is Batman has given Dent and the police department the bat symbol so they can, tell him when they need him again. Vicky is leaving the newspaper, but she's staying in Gotham for now. And she's going to a car. Alfred's waiting for her, going to take her back to the house because Bruce is going to be home late. In the last shot of the movie, Batman on top of the thing, top of a building, looking the fucking bat symbol. And great swelling music. Only time the whole franchise ever used this piece of music. And it's wonderful. I always thought it would be funny. Right after the movie goes to black, Batman goes down there. Hey, motherfuckers! I told you this was for emergencies. Anyhow, Wow, this has been my longest video ever. I'm so sorry. Just say I get caught up when I talk about Batman. I'm sorry. Hell's virtually gotten dark talking about this. I guess just in closing, I obviously love this movie. I told you I didn't like about it, while I was telling you about the movie. Uh, I love Batman Returns, but, the Schumacher films, I dislike as much as y'all. And while I do like the Nolan trilogy, I've always thought they were overrated. Um, I love Ben Affleck's Batman, but I think it sucks he never got a solo movie. And even though I did a whole video about how I was heartbroken about Robert Pattinson, I still think it's questionable casting. I have been won over just because I've been watching clips of his performances and stuff. I saw this. Somebody just took a picture of him and just put the bat mask on it, and I say it fucking looks like Batman. Um, but wow. I'm sorry this went so long, and I guess I really should just cut it here. But I had so much to say. I love Batman so much. It's a very personal, loving movie to me. Hope y'all enjoyed this movie. I hope y'all sat through the whole thing. Thank you very much. I love you. I'll let you go do something else now. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly. And oh yeah, Batman is a fucking classic. Now I'll catch you on the fly.